Hi, welcome to the first ever video of AI Crowd Studios. In this video, we'll be discussing the emerging field of computational creativity with focus on AI and art. In the next few minutes, you'll learn about the various types of AI art, their technical and philosophical context. But before we get started, there is an important question we need to ask. Art is commonly thought of as something you find hanging in museums, framed, something too complicated to understand, but easy to appreciate. Here's what some smart people had to say about art. Art is not a mirror held up to reality, but a hammer with which we shape it. William Faulkner describes art as something that arrests the motion of life, so that 100 years later, when a stranger looks at it, it moves again, since it is life. But really, art is for anyone who wants to experience it. Art is your favorite song, your favorite movie, your favorite books or TV shows. For the purpose of this video, we'll be focusing on art as a static visual medium. Perhaps you thought of Van Gogh's Starry Night or Hopper's Nighthawks. These artworks are very different from each other and implemented in completely different times. They have one thing in common: they're all made by humans. But can an image be considered art if it is made by machine? Part 1. Google Deep Dream. Deep Dream by Google was created by Alexander Mordovitchev that uses convolutional neural network to find and enhance images and patterns. Originally, the algorithm was designed to identify certain objects, but later on it was able to recreate those objects without any further input. For example, you have a neural network that can identify cars, but after a certain time, it can also reproduce the images of car without any further input. The network generates new, creative images due to its ability to classify and sort the existing dataset. But the question over here is this art? Now, I don't know him personally, but philosopher and great thinker Hegel might say yes. In his lectures on fine arts, Hegel said, "Art is a cultural expression. It reveals to consciousness the deepest interests of humanity." French philosopher and man with great mustache, Paul Valéry, also said, "We must expect great innovations to transform the technique of arts, thereby affecting artistic intervention itself, perhaps even bringing about an amazing change in our very notion of art." And AI-generated art questions that very notion of art that we have come to know and accept. More about it in next part. Part 2. Neural Style Transfer. In 2015-2016, a viral photo editing app, GoArt, was the rage. What it did was, it made your mundane selfies look like masterpieces that could hang in museum. It did so by mimicking the style of classic artwork. AI Crowd CEO and artist extraordinaire Sharda Mohanty also created a series of images wherein he takes the input of mundane microscopic pictures and makes them resemble the style of great artists like Da Vinci, Van Gogh, Munch, Pollock, and so on, using neural style transfer. Now, what is neural style transfer and how does it work? NST is a class of software algorithms that manipulates digital images in order to adapt the appearance or visual style of one image using deep neural network for image transformation. What this means in simple English is that it takes a base image and a reference image whose style we want to match. The base input image is transformed to look like the reference image by minimizing the content and style distance using backpropagation. Not to overload you with mathematics, but it does so by using something called a Gram matrix. Through this process, the base image, pixel by pixel, gets to transform to show the style of the reference image. So essentially, in one way, we're imitating a style of art and taking something else and creating a new work of art. But would the artists of yesteryears agree and say that this is art? Fun game, take a shot every time I say art, but make sure it's water. Walter Benjamin, a member of Frankfurt School and rebel, would say, yes, that is art. He saw cultural commodities as a way to control the working class and reinforce capitalistic ideologies. In order to subvert the classical ideas of art and aesthetic, he believed that reproducing art using modern technology takes away the aesthetic authority of institutions and artwork. To some extent, we're seeing this in the implementation of NFTs and people sharing their artwork on Instagram and their personal portfolios for free. It has truly opened up the world of displaying art and selling and the transaction around it. What Walter Benjamin is trying to say is that reproduction and recreation of art makes it more accessible and opens up the space, but it does not dilute the value of the art that is created. But can something that is created purely by machines considered art? Now, let's go a few centuries ago. There's a similar argument for photography, wherein people said that, is it really art? Because over here, the machine, which is the camera, is doing all the work. But we know now that it's not just the camera that is doing the work, it's the human intervention with the camera that creates and captures a certain image. A critical thinker and woman who predicted Instagram several decades before it actually happened, Susan Sontag, would agree with this. She said, "Photography creates a miniature representation of parts, always just the parts, of the visible world that anyone can obtain as their own. Photography creates its own reality, which is a reflection of the world, much like AI-generated art, which is a reflection of the world we live in and represents a slice of it." Susan Sontag goes on to say that creators impose their own preferences on the products merely by choosing where they point their camera and how they point it. This becomes very significant when we talk about part 3, which is GANs. Part 3, Portrait of Edmund Bellamy. If I've done the editing correctly, over here you should see a picture of a man. The picture depicts a slightly chubby gentleman, possibly French, and judging by his clothing, he is probably someone who works at church. But do you know who the painter is? Usually, all the artwork is signed by the creator. In this painting, the artwork is signed by a mathematical formula. What is this formula for? We'll get to that in a second. The painting is a group of portraits of fictional Bellamy family created by Obvious, a Paris-based collective who creates works of art using GANs, Generative Adversarial Network. The algorithm is composed of two parts. One side is the generator, on the other side is the discriminator. So what they did is they fed the dataset of 15,000 portraits painted between 14th century to 20th century. The generator makes a new image based on the set. Then the discriminator tries to spot the difference between a human-made image and one created by the generator. The aim is to fool the discriminator into thinking that the new image are real-life portraits. Then we have a result. So essentially what we have here is this artwork created by an AI. Is this art? Bear Gott, a professor of psychology and someone who knows a lot about art and aesthetics, puts forward 10 properties or conditions for something to be classified as art. According to him, the conditions for something to classify as art includes positive aesthetics, expression of emotion, intellectually challenging, complex, coherent, and original. This portrait of Edmund Bellamy actually meets quite a few of those requirements. This work is original. It's not something that has been done before. It is intellectually challenging. It is complex and coherent as an image, and it also expresses an emotion, even if that is one of confusion. While some might question the intention behind creating a work of art, the painting is an original work on the dataset that was intentionally curated. Think of dataset as a pigment that is used to paint this picture using the brush of AI. George Dickey, philosopher with nice glasses, laid out 5 principles for art to be seen as an artifact. This mostly includes recognition from existing art world and institutions, intention to create it for sharing with the public, and participation by the artist with the art world in a public sphere. In our current age, these conditions are met as artworks are shared with public quite openly, be it through NFTs or Instagram or your personal websites. The portrait of Edmund Bellamy was created with the aim of sharing it with a larger audience. It was eventually picked up by Christie's, a legendary art auction house, and eventually sold $432,000, nearly 45 times its estimate. AI-generated art is finding its way in popular national museums and auctions by big houses like Sotheby's and Christie's. Part 4. What does all this mean for the art world? Wall-E, a new tool, uses text inputs to create art. It uses a large neural network to perform text generation tasks and creates images with high fidelity. For example, if I were to tell Wall-E, draw a dinosaur that looks like a light in the color green, it probably can do it. All this is very exciting, but what does this mean for the world of art? And data is anything that a machine requires to understand human life, and creating art using data as material is the next exciting step in this domain. Artists will always have additional creative tools at their disposal, one they can even collaborate with. Rather than thinking of AI as something that's going to replace artists, we should be seeing it as a new exciting tool that they get to use. For example, camera for photography, or Photoshop and digital art for the new media. So when photography was first invented in the early 19th century, it wasn't seen as art. After all, the machine was doing all the work. But the tastemakers resisted, and eventually, a century later, photography became an established fine art. Today, photographs are exhibited in museums and auctioned off at an astronomical price. Art, the way we know it, is going to change forever. AI can be seen as a tool that assists artists in creating something that transcends this reality. We are at the cusp of a new art movement. Are you in?